Have you ever had this feeling that politics is not supposed to be the way the politicians in your country are doing it? Is politics a game of winning or losing? No. Is politics all about voting and democracy? No. Is politics an institution of retirement for some set of people? No. Then why is politics so complicated? I know why. Because God is a politician. And anything God is involved in is always hard to comprehend. Albert Einstein once said, politics is harder than physics. Before I go on to explain deeply about politics with Bible knowledge, I'll first of all like to define politics. Politics is a set of activities that are associated with making decisions in groups or other forms of power, relations among individuals, such as the distribution of resources or status. Politics is all about two things: power and resources. It's what makes politics relevant, is power and resources. We all as humans, and when I say humans, I mean the 8 billion people presently on earth, want the same thing. We all want power and we all want resources. What is power? The simple definition for power in my own word is this: power is influence. What are resources? Resources can be anything that can be used to accomplish a goal. And the basic types of resources are natural resources, capital resources, human resources, technological resources, and information resources. The major fight in the history of man is for power and resources. All the movies you watch is also for power and resources. When you click on this video, what would have popped in your mind is this: that what does the Bible have to do with politics? Everything in the Bible has to do with politics. In fact, the entire Bible is all about politics. I can't explain everything in one video, but I would love to encourage you to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Now let's move on. If you ask me what does God mean to me, I will say this: that God is government. And what is government? Government is all about power and authority. And the government controls everything through laws, which is generally known as policies. The Bible calls it commandments because the word policy didn't exist until the 1560s. I believe you are following me up, right? Good. What the government cares about most in their country and also wants from other countries is this: territories and you. And when I say you, I mean you as human resource. The creation story in Genesis chapter 1 made it clear that God focused on two things: territories and power. Power is what is referred to as dominion in the Bible, and territories are the land, the sky, and the seas. If you want to take power away from your government, seize all their territories. One interesting thing is this: all occupation falls under these three categories. You are either working on land, in the sky, or in the sea. If you have ever thought about wanting any of these three, that is anything that has to do with the territories, that shows that you are absolutely politicians too. Like I said in the beginning, we all want the same thing, which is power and resources. At the same time, God, the supreme government, wants you to have it, because that is the major reason why you are here on earth. God made it clear in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 when he said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may have dominion over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that moves along the ground." Why did God ask man to rule over animals? Because in politics, the way you communicate to people depends on their occupation and their thought process. Let me give you an example. The word sheep, goat, shepherds, wolf, and bird are mostly used repeatedly in the Bible, because that is what the people the Bible talks about most understands. When Jacob and his sons went to visit the boss of Joseph, who happens to be the Pharaoh of that time in the land of Egypt, the question that Pharaoh asked was this: "What is your occupation?" And they answered, "We are shepherds, both we and our fathers." That is, their generational occupation was shepherds, and that's the language they actually understood. Now let's go back to Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, where God says man should rule over animals. The exposure of man during that time was limited to animals, land, sky, and seas. So God had to speak a language they understood. When God made that statement, what God meant was this: dominate over the land, over the seas, and over the sky. And deep inside of every man, we all want to dominate in one of these territories. Now, to talk about the current global system of government, which is democracy. Now, I want you to know this: that democracy doesn't mean politics. Democracy is a polity. And what does polity mean? In a very simple sentence, polity means system of government. Just as man has his own polity, God also has his own polity. Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Now, I'm going to define that verse from a political perspective for you to understand better. What does the word way mean? Way means polity. Polity means system of government. That is, Jesus is the system of government. What does truth mean? Truth means policy, which is known as law. And life means economic livelihood, which is a means for getting resources. No one comes to the Father except through me. What is Father in politics? The executive arm of government. And what did Jesus meant by no one comes to the Father except through me? Jesus is the judiciary arm of the supreme government. And you can only go through the judiciary to speak to the executive, which is referred to as prayer in the court of law, but generally known as petition. Thank you for watching this video.